everyone, and welcome to MeowMix, the Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Steven.
My name is Jerry.
And we are here to recap the draft. As you most likely know, we have already gone through rounds 1, 2, and 3. Put our rapid reactions up immediately after those rounds. And welcome to all the new YouTube subscribers. We appreciate it. Our videos did pretty well over the last few days. So thanks everybody for the comments and the likes and the subs. We appreciate it. And if you like this, then please like and subscribe. We're going to start with the 4th round, go through the end of the draft. Then we'll kind of recap some of the other stuff that happened. I think there's actually been some undrafted signings as well we can look at. So we'll start right now with our 4th round pick. And by the way, let me just say that day 3, I loved day 3. A+ overall for me for day 3.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like they were just grabbing. First of all, they collected pick after pick after pick, and then they just started grabbing the guys that they wanted or they really valued.
And a lot of guys that fell, just great value picks.
And I think we may have gotten a couple starters out of here, or at least
I think so too.
Future starters, maybe not day 1, but.
Well, here's one that's definitely not a day 1 starter, but 4th round pick, Chuba Hubbard. Great name. Running back out of Oklahoma State. This guy in 2019 rushed for 2,094 yards and 21 touchdowns on 328 attempts. So, 6.4 rushes per attempt. That's Oklahoma State. That's not a D3 school. So I love this pick. I was hoping that the Panthers would address the backup running back position sometime in day 3 of the draft. And it seems like this guy was someone who, if he'd have come out last year, would have been a much higher pick. Now, in 2020, with, the weird COVID season, his stats fell a little bit, 133 attempts, 625 yards, only 5 touchdowns. But he obviously has the skills. Yeah,
what I kind of watched some of his highlights, I couldn't watch everything, but he seemed like he was very patient and he hit the hole quick. He doesn't seem to have the top end speed, but he does have that quickness to get to the second level. And then,
and that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
Right. Is if you can burst through the line, if you can get past those first couple of defenders, then you're going to pick up yards, and as a backup running back, this is perfect for me.
Yeah. 6 foot, 210, pretty solid guy. I like this pick.
Good size.
Supposedly he had a couple fumbling issues, but that's something that the coaching staff will have to work on, and it's very fixable.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of guys that come, especially in these later rounds, have some issue. So if that's his only issue, then fine. They can fix that. Carry the ball.
Otherwise, they would be a 1st round pick if they had no issues.
Right. We've seen a lot of really good running backs come into the league with fumbling issues. So, overall grade on that pick for me, it's an A.
I would go A-, but A.
What's your small little hang up? Just other positions, maybe.
Yeah, that's it. But I agree with you at the same time, where we needed to find another backup running back because it seemed like even Bonavin couldn't stay healthy. Mike Davis is gone. We needed to find something else back there.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. Moving to the 5th round, first pick of the 5th round for the Panthers, defensive tackle Davion Nixon. This is a guy that sort of fell a bit. A lot of folks had him late 2nd or 3rd round pick. So this is a really good value pick.
Yep.
He's 6'3", 305. And this is another position that I was hoping they would address.
I'm showing him at 315 on NFL.com. So,
okay.
So a little bit bigger on that side. Yeah, this guy fell. I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't go in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
Big guy. He does have to work on his technique. That's kind of what I read. But for the most part, he's a good run stuffing defensive tackle that has the athletic ability to be a pass rusher with better technique. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That is exactly the type of guy we needed to grab. Someone to pair next to Derek Brown in the future, learn behind Daquan Jones and Derek Brown this year, and hopefully next year take that step and become the starter. if we
That's the
don't
thing.
re-sign Daquan Jones.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is like Daquan Jones, a 1-year deal. If this guy can learn from him over the course of this season, he's got the size and he can come in and play, then I mean, this is perfect. Again, this is a position that I didn't want the Panthers to go for in the first couple of rounds, but that they needed to address.
To short,
and this
I
is
agree.
perfect. Like, this is a guy you could have gotten in the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
And
No,
wouldn't have, yeah. Go ahead.
this is exactly the position I was worried about before Daquan Jones. And then when they signed him, I was like, at least we got a stopgap for this year.
Yeah.
You know, we still need some depth. And this is what it's providing.
Right.
I think a defensive tackle 2-3 weeks ago was probably one of our worst positions, scariest positions. And now I feel with his signing, with Daquan Jones signing, I feel like this could be a very strong part of our defense.
The defensive line is extremely solid.
The defense itself,
and I would even say
shaping
better
up
than
nicely.
that. Yeah, agreed. So with this pick, I mean, I'm going A+. I think where, 5th round guy that could be a starter next year, or, a high quality reserve is perfect in the 5th round.
Absolutely. Same thing. Yeah. A+.
All right. Let's go to the next position here. Also defense. Keith Taylor, cornerback out of Washington. I've read a lot about this guy, and a lot of folks are pretty down on him. I've seen some that are, kind of are, agnostic about him, but a lot of folks are saying this, he's a bad tackler. He's bad in coverage. He's fast, but that's about it. So I don't know a ton about him.
He's also tall. That's what I read too.
Yeah, he's got good size and speed. But this is, getting a backup corner in the 5th round that, may needs a lot of coaching is fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. He has a size and speed that the Panthers wanted. And hopefully Matt Rule sees him as a project that maybe he can be on the practice squad and they can coach up into a quality corner.
Yeah.
I mean, and where they grabbed him at, I'm not throwing a temper tantrum. He has a size and speed. It's not like he's just a complete bad player. So good. Yeah. I'll give it a B-.
I agree. I think B-, maybe even C+ on this one. I think I'm okay with this pick.
And we're talking late round 5. This is the time where the coaching staff and the scouting guys really just, they're going after the guys they think that they can work in their system and they can coach up. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah, agreed. All right, moving on to the 6th round, and maybe my favorite pick of day 3, Deontay Brown, guard out of Alabama. First of all, you're getting an Alabama offensive lineman in the 6th round, a starting Alabama offensive lineman. He's a guy that we talked about.
First team SEC.
Yeah, he's the guy we talked about in our, basically our last preview show, draft preview show, that we thought if we could get him, on day 3, it would be a really nice value. And this is, again, a position of need, offensive line. He's a huge guy. 6'3", 365. He's massive.
He's only allowed 1 pressure in 2020. I mean, just think about that. And he's playing in the SEC. It's not, Division II or anything.
Right.
And one of the best things about him, if you look at him, he looks like a Blastoise from Pokemon. He is that big of a guy.
The social media team's going to have fun with him.
I was going to say, I kept calling him like a bowling ball with legs and arms to match. Yeah. But then as someone compared him to a Blastoise, and I was like, yes, that is the perfect.
I saw Blastoise memes all over the place yesterday, which is great. We're Pokemon fans here.
I mean, all joking aside, the guy's a beast, and that's 6th round.
Huge.
I would not be shocked if he ended up starting towards the end of the season for us.
Well, so some of the knocks on him are he's a very bad athlete, from what they say, which at 365, maybe going to be tough to be an elite athlete at that size. And then there's
you just push him back.
There's concerns with his pass protection. But as a guard, if he's surrounded by some quality guys, like if he's on the right side,
Yeah.
then I feel pretty good about that. Moton can help him out. So yeah, it's a position the Panthers didn't address enough, in my opinion, offensive line in this draft. But they got a good one here. I'm excited.
I agree. I think that's a good quality guard in the 6th round. Yeah. Sign me up. So I give the grade, I would say an A.
Yeah, that's me. Me too. Solid A. 6th round. The pass protection thing is my only concern, but he can be coached.
Yeah. Again, he didn't allow a sack and only allowed 1 pressure last year.
Yeah.
So
going to our second 6th round pick. And by the way, the Panthers just kept acquiring more and more picks. I think we had 11 draft picks in this draft.
Scott trade back Fitterer.
Yeah, which we started with 7, I think. So before the Teddy Bridgewater trade. So Shi Smith, wide receiver out of South Carolina. Just looking at his stats, nothing blows me away with him. His best season was 2018, 45 receptions, 673 yards, 4 touchdowns. So he's not a guy that was out there. I don't think he was the number 1 receiver, but he's 5'10", 185, so a bit on the small side. But again, this is, we're looking at guys to maybe replace Curtis Samuel. He's not the same size.
He's a great route runner. He catches with his hands. He's going to be that slot type of guy. He's going to be not competing. He'll probably be underneath David Moore in that slot position at the start of the year. And they're hoping that they can develop him. I don't think he has the top end speed, but I think he's quick and a good route runner. And I think in the slot that can work very nicely for this team.
Yeah. And that's something that, a slot receiver, Terrace Marshall, who they've drafted in the 2nd round, he's not a slot receiver.
No, he's an outside guy.
Yeah. So this would be that addressing that position. And again, middle of the 6th round, perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine with something like this. So I'm going to give this, maybe a B+. Again, just because I feel like we didn't need to take 2 receivers in this draft. But middle of the 6th round, again, if you go get somebody that you like that falls, then take him.
I'm going A-. I didn't realize he ran a 4.4. I thought
That's fast, man.
Yeah, that's really fast.
That is fast. It's faster than me.
And he has a good route running and good hands.
Yeah.
That could be a sneaky safe one. I'm going A-.
Yeah, good. Again, I'm happy with it. Let's go to maybe the most controversial pick of the draft for the Panthers, especially in day 3 here. Thomas Fletcher, long snapper, again out of Alabama. Long snapper, a position the Panthers are pretty set at, JJ Jansen, although he is getting a little long in the tooth.
And he just signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, just a 1-year deal. But, he's been with the Panthers, it seems like, since 1995. Now, it hasn't been that long, but he's been here for a long time. And, always one of those guys that you just don't worry about. Yeah. You never hear his name, which is exactly what you want from a long snapper.
Absolutely. How many bad long, punt snaps have you seen, or field goal snaps?
I don't even remember any.
Exactly.
I mean, honestly.
And that's beautiful. That's what you want. That's what you need, because otherwise you're going to know, oh my God, we need one.
Yeah.
With that being said, I'm fine with this pick, because if they think he could be the long-term answer, because like you said, JJ Jansen's probably going to be gone in a year or 2 anyways, I'm fine with this pick. I know my nephew texted me and was like, we could have signed him as an undrafted free agent. You never know if he's going to sign.
Maybe. Or he could have been taken in the 7th round.
Have you seen the video of him getting called?
No.
So Matt Rule called him up to say he was drafted, say, hey, you ready to come to Carolina? And he goes, I don't know right now. I'm still debating it.
That's right. He was talking to someone else. I heard that.
Yeah, because he thought he was an undrafted free agent. And what Matt Rule did was figured, all right, someone else is going to try to grab this guy. I'm going to go ahead and just use one of these late round picks on him, bring him in. And if I like him, I'm keeping him. I'll probably drop JJ Jansen or trade him.
Yeah.
So free up.
Yeah, that, and I think that a long snapper was taken right after this pick as well. I think Washington took one right after this pick. So the speculation is that Washington wanted this guy and the Panthers grabbed him. But this is very similar to Tommy Stevens from last year with the Panthers, who they were trying to negotiate with him to take him as an undrafted free agent, and then the Saints swooped in and picked him up. So again, I agree with you. Late in the 6th round, like pick somebody that you think is going to play for the team. And if it's a long snapper, then it's a long snapper. Like
if it's a punter, it's a punter.
And in the late 6th round, what are you looking for? Honestly, you're just looking for bodies.
You're looking for
might be
a
able
guy
to
that can eventually maybe make the roster. I mean, that's what
you're looking for competition.
For.
You're looking for competition, and that's what this guy brings. So that being said, I'm not super excited about it, so I'm going to give it a B-. You know, there probably could have been other positions that they addressed here. Offensive line would be one, but I don't hate it.
I'm going to go B+ just because I have a feeling Matt Rule must have loved this guy and really wanted long-term an answer. So,
well,
and instead of hanging out,
he's in Alabama, so he's been coached well. We know that much.
Yeah,
a lot of Alabama, a lot of like
South Carolina
SEC,
and Alabama.
Yeah, a lot of SEC picks for the Panthers this year. Going to the final pick, 7th round. I think the 4th pick in the 7th round, Phil Hoskins, defensive tackle out of Kentucky. Now, this is another one that a lot of folks didn't have Phil Hoskins being drafted. A lot of folks had him as an undrafted free agent. And a defensive tackle, don't know the Panthers needed another defensive tackle in this draft. If it was me, I'd have just gone for another body on the offensive line. Give me just more competition at that very important spot. But it's the 7th round.
Absolutely.
And if they like this guy, then I have no problem with it. I don't know a lot about him.
He has big size, 6'5", 313. He's very nimble, they said, very athletic. And that seems to be what Matt Rule likes. So it's one of those things, like you said, if he likes him and he thinks he can coach him to become a better, defensive tackle, good for it. And who knows? He has a 7-foot wingspan. Who knows? They may put him on the outside too on certain type of situations.
Yeah. If he's got one elite trait, and again, I don't know a lot about him. I didn't do a ton of research on the Panthers' 7th round pick, normally because they don't make the roster. But if he has an elite trait, then that's all I want. Like if in the 6th and 7th round, just pick a guy with one elite trait, and you can try to coach up the rest. So,
yeah. Well, one of the best things I see about him is his nickname is Big Snack. So
Big Snack. Well, I like that. If you come in with a nickname, then you're somebody at least.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm just gonna give this like a C+. It's 7th round pick, position I didn't necessarily think they needed to address again. So C+ for me.
I'll go C+ too. I agree. I mean, he's one of those guys that could have probably went undrafted, but
yeah,
whatever. If Matt Rule, if you like him, go grab him. Don't let him hit the undrafted. You learned last year that doesn't always go in your favor.
Right. Exactly. So again, we sort of gave our grades for the entire day before. I think we were both A+, solid A. So we're very, very, very happy with the day 3 picks here. So that's all the draft picks, Jerry. Let's kind of give our overall grade for how we feel like this draft went for the Panthers. And I'll let you start.
I'm going to go A-. Really solid draft. I think, like I said, we may have found a couple starters late in this pick or in this draft. And that's what you want. And more likely, I like the fact that they took so many swings late, because those are the type of guys that can fill out the bottom of the roster with depth. And this team has struggled with depth. Under Marty Herney, that was one of the biggest negatives is he had top end talent up top, but later on, it was just, there was nothing once those guys got injured or needed to take a breath.
Yeah. And I was just about to say something very similar is, unlike the Marty Herney years, I liked this draft more as it went on. More later on, the later picks fill me with more glee maybe than the earlier picks. And again, only because of who the Panthers passed up and the positions that I was hoping they would address. But overall, I agree with you. I'm going to go A-. I feel like they got very good players. And they addressed a lot of needs.
Yep.
And that's all you can ask for, really, is address some needs and get some top end talent. And I feel like they did a really good job. You know, the trading back was annoying to me at first because, number one, I wanted to see my team make a pick, especially there in the second round where they just kept trading back. And I was like, oh my God, are we ever going to get to a Panthers pick here? But I do feel like where they ended up picking, they drafted good guys and they accumulated enough picks to get even more talent on the roster, which was greatly needed. So overall, yeah, A- for me.
So here's a question. Who is your pick of the draft? I mean, obviously you're going to expect JC Horn to be the best player, but I'm saying the best pick where they got him and everything else.
I would say I think value guy that I'm most excited about, maybe that 5th round pick, Davion Nixon.
That was mine.
Yeah, just the defensive tackle. Again, a position that isn't like in desperate need this year, but a guy that really fell into the Panthers' lap.
Yeah,
and I think is gonna be a player for a long time for us.
And being rotational defensive tackles really helps everybody out. It helps them, get their breath and get back out there and stay healthy and fit.
Yeah.
While maybe knocking down those O linemen being so.
And that's the thing is like, there's no pick in this draft that I don't like. Are there picks that I wish would have gone differently? Yeah, but there's nowhere where I'm like, God, I can't believe they took that guy. Like, I really wish that he wasn't on the roster. There's no picks like that at all.
We want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com.
Yeah. When will we be back? That's a good question. Probably at least going to be a week. We're going to kind of sit down and talk about some of this off-season content that we want to do. Anybody has anything they want us to talk about, or any ideas for segments, anything like that, any questions, then shoot us an email or a Twitter DM, a YouTube comment, whatever you want to do, however you want to get at us. We are very responsive, so let us know. But until next time, everybody stay safe out there and keep pounding. Wow.